When she started, the NCAA was still 8 years away from recognizing women's basketball as a sport. That was perfect for Pat. It was an opportunity to affect change on the court and way beyond.
I don't think that she planned to be a pioneer, but I think that she was comfortable being the pioneer.
She didn't smash through glass ceilings. She was a glass cutter. You know, she would sort of etch away, at the glass ceiling until she popped out a big old square.
We have to have more television exposure. That's going to be significant if we're going to see progress in the next decade.
She had so many obstacles to get them on television, to get them recognized, to put women's basketball in the forefront.
The men got a bigger locker room, and she fought for us, and we got that bigger locker room. And so she knew what she was doing, and she set a precedent.
This is a chance of a lifetime. You can't be afraid to go out and compete and do whatever it takes.
Her determination and her success have never been limited just to the game. For Pat Summitt, perseverance has always been utterly personal. You would understand that if you knew all the turns her life has taken. The pain and anguish of 6 miscarriages. The joy when her son was born.
Finally, I got Tyler, and he was a gift from God.
Pat's never shown her struggles. Just like the miscarriages, just like her divorce, losing her dad, whatever Pat deals with, she just doesn't show it.
There's 2 sides of her. They'll see her piercing into some official or yelling at one of her players, but she knows how to relate to somebody and really be a mom for her players and for me.
That means you're number 1, but you're going to go with it. You like it?
Her demands went off the court into the way the kids lived and what they did academically, and I think that's why so many of her players have been very, very successful.
In 38 years as head coach, every one of Pat Summitt's players has graduated. 74 members of the Lady Vol family have followed her path into coaching. Countless others touched by a phone call, a letter, or a conversation.
Coach is there for us as a mentor, and I think I always carry it around where I want to make her proud. And the woman I am today, a lot of that is because of Coach Pat Summitt.
For nearly 4 decades, this was the legacy Pat built, all the while continuing to look forward.
She said, I know there's something more I'm supposed to be doing. And I said, you don't think changing entire generations of women is enough? And she said, I just know there's something else I'm supposed to be doing.
Alongside that thought, the woman who'd always demanded the best of everyone else was finding herself struggling more and more to maintain her own punishing pace.
I'd wake up and I would where am I? And, I thought, what is happening to me?
It just seemed like something was wrong. She couldn't juggle as many things at one time. She wasn't Wonder Woman anymore.
The diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's came last spring at the Mayo Clinic.
I think the initial reaction from my mom and me was, why is this happening? It really seemed unfair for this to happen to her when was at the height of her career.
You know how you have this image of a superhero, and then it's they kind of have a crack in their armor, and you're kind of you see some vulnerability and stuff. It's just she's always been the shoulder that everybody else has had to lean on.
Throughout her entire career, Coach had led the way. Throughout her entire life, she had defied expectations. This latest chapter would be no different. She would confront Alzheimer's head-on. She decided she would keep coaching.
She told the players that this is not a pity party. We're not going to sit here and feel sorry for Pat Summitt.
There's a courage there to go out and maybe appear vulnerable. A lot of people wanted her to quit, retire, go away, get out of the public eye.
To be on public display, really, while you're fighting this disease is so courageous.
It amazed everybody for her to be in the spotlight and handle everything the way she had. That's just characteristic of how she's done everything.
All season long, she was watched more closely than ever. What observers saw was a community she had built rally around her. And Coach Pat Summitt led her team to a 16th SEC championship.
On behalf of women's college basketball everywhere, we want to pay tribute to you. You are the finest coach in the history.
There was hope she would coach longer. But a few weeks later, Pat Summitt decided she had led the Tennessee Lady Vols for the final time. A vision of grace surrounding her trademark stubbornness.
Think about the good things that happen and what's to come and in the future.
I wouldn't be the woman I am today if it wasn't for you.
She was leaving the game she'd been introduced to as a farm girl. A game she had changed forever. A game that had been the tapestry of her legacy.
When you say there's a little piece of Pat, all through women's basketball, I think that's truer than people even realize.
If I were to pick the 3 or 4 coaches that taught the game of basketball the best during my time in coaching, Pat Summitt would be one of them.
Her accomplishments transcend statistics.
Her influence is really throughout the game, not just Tennessee, but the whole nation.
It might be easy to define Pat Summitt by how many games she's won and how many championships she's earned. But it's always been about the players she's led, the people she's taught, the courage she has shown. The journey continues now. There's so much more for her to teach us.